What up and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt. Joining us today is Tatiana Shchekina. Did I say that right?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
And Mograph is a supplement to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Questions, comments, concerns, queries, grievances, topic ideas, artist suggestions. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, mograph.com, all the different things.
All the
and
things.
You can talk to us on there.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you want to hear about, what's important to you in the world of motion graphics. And this week, creating the Unreal is here.
Dun, dun, dun. It's here, finally. We don't have to hear angry emails about when it's coming out anymore. It's out.
We didn't get any angry emails. Yeah, and now I can go concentrate on my course. That's my next thing. So this one is out. You can check it out. Got a little promo video here that I'm going to bring up on the Dingus.
What up? Wimbush here, and today I'm excited to tell you guys about my brand new course coming to mograph.com, Creating the Unreal, a motion graphics guide to Unreal Engine. I'm going to show you guys how you can integrate Cinema 4D so you'll be crazy comfortable in no time. So we're going to start by exploring the marketplace, and then from there I'm going to show you guys how to set up a scene. We're going to get familiar with the content browser, the viewports, how to set up the sequencer for the timeline, and then from there we're going to get into lighting, texturing, rendering. I'm going to show you how you can integrate Quixel Bridge with Unreal so you have access to that full library of surfaces and 3D models and everything else that they have on there. And so if this sparks your interest even a little bit, then this course is just for you. So go to mograph.com, click on classes to sign up, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Let's create the Unreal together.
Woo, woo.
All right. So, if you are interested in learning some Unreal, this is like a complete beginner's type course too.
Yeah,
like if you've never touched Unreal before.
Yeah, and I made it a point that when I was going through the beta testing for it, that because I was really excited about jumping into Unreal, I wanted to make sure that I came at it with like zero knowledge. So I didn't do any tutorials or anything, and I went into it. And I feel very comfortable in Unreal. And the thing that I really like about this course is that like he starts off with the marketplace and stuff like that. And at first when I was watching it, I was like, well, why are we going over the marketplace? And what you have to realize about Unreal is that Unreal is not just the one program, you know? Unreal encompasses so much more because they've got so much involved with it. They've got the marketplace where you can buy stuff, you can get free assets. Then you've also got Quixel Bridge, and his entire chapter on Quixel, like the Quixel Bridge and Quixel Mixer and all of it, like that's worth it alone, you know? So it's such a great course because it goes over like all that Unreal, basically Epic, has to offer for it, which is really, really great. You come out of it knowing Unreal really well, especially jumping from Cinema 4D into Unreal, and then like being able to, you know, jump off and download assets or work with Quixel, and it's really, really great. It's a great course.
you get a feel for Quixel when you do it, and then when you jump back into Cinema for other projects, you're already used to it. That's like your gateway drug to Quixel.
It really
got
is.
A subscription this week, and it's like, wow, why haven't I been using this before?
Yeah, I went through the Quixel Bridge chapter, and I told Dave, I said, this is incredible. And the bridge stuff, like the fact that you can bring in like that can be a hub for all your models that you buy, no matter where they're from, you know, or like you've got polygon textures, you can throw them in there, you can upload them in there, and you can just have this one-stop shop. And what's great is because like once you've got everything set up, you can just straight up export it to whatever render engine you want and straight into, you know, whatever program you're using. It's really awesome. Really, really awesome. So Buy our course.
So
Go to
and on
mograph.com/classes and check it out.
mhm. Or if you want to go direct to the info page, you can go to /creating the unreal and check it out there. So this Thursday, though, we're going to have one of our late night specials, 8 p.m. Central Time. If you want to join us, if you're interested in hearing more about the course, you can check us out. It's going to be, 8 p.m. Central. We're going to have Winbush on. You can ask him, about anything really having to do with the course. If you're on the fence, if you want to know more, if there's something that's not covered, if you have other Unreal questions you'd like to ask him as well about virtual production and things like that, anything that he's been working with in Unreal. If you want to hear more about the making of the course, we'll probably talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, Benji from Capacity is going to be on as well with us.
Awesome.
To talk more about Unreal stuff. So it's going to be a fun, Unreal discussion, I think, especially when it applies to the motion graphics world. So join us then. We're in quarantine. What else are you going to do, right?
Right.
Let's talk about Unreal a little bit. So, anything else for the week wrap up? We've got Monday meeting. I wanted to mention Monday meeting, the time has changed.
Yes.
Which it is 3:00 Eastern now on Mondays. So it's one of those things where you just, as soon as we're done, you just flip over and check them out. Back to back. It's double back-to-back Mograph you don't want to miss. Mograph events. That's it. Anything else for the week wrap up? I know you were having problems with everybody wanted to know about your CPU and if it works.
Yeah, I got my replacement CPU, from the Threadripper that had been stolen. But dealing with Amazon has been the biggest pain because I should have just had them send me a new one. That I should have just done that from the beginning. But for some reason I thought, I can get it quicker if I just have them refund me and then order a new one. Not realizing that they had to send one from Canada all the way to Dallas, then to me. So I should have just had them send it to me because it would have gotten there at the same time. But I was like, nah, just refund me and then I'll buy a new one. So I bought a new one. Didn't show up till Friday anyway. And so then they, so it sucks. I've called, dealing with Amazon. I don't know. I just stay away from Amazon when you're making big purchases like that. Don't spend, don't spend $2,000 on a Threadripper from Amazon. It's like go to a better place because they got the whole thing started is because someone from the warehouse, I'm sure, just ripped it off. All right, what are you gonna do? So but now I'm having to deal with the repercussions of, getting my refund. And so I call once and they're like, okay, we'll issue a refund this Friday. And then the next week, nope, still hasn't gotten a refund. Okay. So then I call again and they're like, oh, okay, I see. This is the issue. It got stolen, blah, blah, blah. And so we'll issue you a refund on Friday. And I immediately get an email back from them saying, we're sorry you never received your item in the mail. And it's like, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. I got the packaging, but I just didn't get the thing was stolen. So, so I finally just had to do a chargeback on my Amex card, and now Amazon's pissed about it. And it's like, sorry.
They're like, why did you want to do a chargeback on this?
Why did you want to do a chargeback? It's like, well,
go read your notes.
If you'd read your notes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I've heard for little stuff, for returns and stuff like that, it's never been a big deal. I've heard that Amazon's good about the little stuff, but when it comes to the expensive stuff, it's like you're going to have to deal with a hassle. So be very wary about buying any sort of electronics through Amazon.
This is why brick and mortar is nice. You could walk in and buy a CPU same day, take it home. It's in the box because it's in your hand.
I know. I don't know.
Nice and
but
easy.
you can't get a 32-core Threadripper, especially second gen from Best Buy.
Well, you used to be able to go to Fry's and get one or something.
I know. I don't know what's going on with Fry's. Fry's is I swear it's a front for laundering money. I swear it is.
Those YouTube videos on the weirdness of it.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how they stay in business. Maybe they just bought the I don't know. Because they got nothing. They have nothing at their stores.
There's nothing in there.
There's
the
nothing.
CPU section is a bunch of bottled water. There's that YouTube video. That person went over to Las Vegas to check it out.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, the Vegas store is fine. And he went and checked it out. Same deal. It's a whole conspiracy of fries now.
Yeah, I'm telling you. They're just laundering money.
Yeah.
I don't know how they survive.
Well, speaking of laundering money, let's go to Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor? Well, laundering money. Okay.
So I wanted to mention that there was a $70,000 3080 purchased off of eBay this week.
That's ridiculous. 3080 or 3090? Because the 3090s were released this week.
3080 for $70,000.
See, yeah. Yeah.
And every time I see that, I'm like, what is the scam? Like, it's just an excuse to launder money, isn't it?
I'm sure. You know, yeah, it's got to be. It's the same thing with like selling the cereal on Amazon for a ridiculous amount of money.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's some sort of weird money laundering transfer thing, and they just wait for events like this to have an excuse to.
The real question is, though, how did they get their hands on a 3080
right.
to sell?
Right. That's kind of the question.
Maybe it was just maybe I mean they had to have someone bought it, right? You know, so like someone they knew bought it and paid the $70,000 or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand, but I don't know. Tatiana, what render engine do you use most of the time?
I use Redshift. I started with Octane, but then I switched to Redshift completely. And I also was excited about like 3080, but then I've heard that actually you can't stack them up because they overheat. Like you can't use two of those. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering about.
And I was like, so what's even the point, you know? Like, because if it's like
I don't know.
I've
heard that as well. But I've also heard that the cooling is really nice, like with the radiator, like the radiator-esque thing that they've got on it. Like it helps with the temperatures, but I don't know. I plan on stacking 3, so we're gonna find out.
Let me know if it worked.
I will.
Yeah, has anybody actually done that and reported back yet? Does anybody actually have them?
I know, right?
I feel like even in our Slack, does anybody in the Slack have one yet?
I don't think so.
Out of all these people, you think
Right.
that somebody would have gotten their hands on one.
Yeah.
There's almost 1,000 people in our Slack now.
I'm just gonna wait for. I don't know. I think we're gonna wait for the 3080 Ti version. You know, just spend more money. Just throw money at Nvidia.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Well, in Octane news, I did want to say that this is kind of ironic. There's a release of Octane X for Unreal Engine.
Oh yeah.
And
well, there's an Octane version for Unreal. You know, and I've played around with it.
Have you heard the stuff going on around Fortnite and Apple?
No, yeah, I know that.
Right. So what Apple is trying to do is revoke them as a developer whatsoever on any of their platforms. That's what's going on as far as like what they're threatening with right now. So the big thing is they're saying that there could possibly be no more Unreal development on Mac to begin with.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. Like, I think they're just in a big pissing match right now, you know? And it's like, whatever.
Well, it's a tough call. I don't really know how I feel about that because Apple has always said, well, here's what the cut is. What is it, like 30% or something like that, right? Yeah. When it comes to that, and it's always been like that, and they agreed to that when they signed up. So it's kind of like, well, you agreed to that, but their angle on it is we bring so much money and so much business, we should be able to cut a deal. Yeah. Is that fair?
I don't really see that though. Like they can't be making that much money through Fortnite on the iPhone. You know?
Do you know how much money Fortnite makes?
Yeah, it's like a couple $1 billion every year or something like that.
It's billions.
I know.
And that's the thing is that Fortnite works on every platform simultaneously. It's not like you have a different version for iOS. Like you're playing someone on your if they're on their phone, you could be on your Xbox or your computer playing that person. It's
Yeah.
the same. I don't know if you ever have seen it. It almost looks like it's streaming. It's really weird.
Yeah, I've played it. I may have it on my phone. You know, my kid got into the dances, of course. You know, and I was like, you know,
Right.
this is an actual game, and so I downloaded it and I played it with him. You know, on my phone, but it's like can't game on a mobile device like that.
Well, you can't, but like my daughter will play Fortnite. If there's no other vehicle to play Fortnite on, she will resort to the phone and she'll do it.
I don't get
And
it.
so I think it's a big deal. I think that a lot of people do that because then they play at home on Xbox or whatever, and then they go out. The kids they go out
these
and they get
days.
on their phone. Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully the Octane. or
I'm sure
Unreal
it'll be fine.
on
But here's
Mac
the
is a
thing,
moot
like
point.
so like Octane when I got into Unreal, when I started taking this course and stuff, you know, like I was like, ooh, I really want to try out Octane and Unreal, thinking that for some reason it was going to render faster, but that's not actually the case. The thing is, like, you're able to get the same render
Right.
quality, you know, that you would.
Right.
Uh,
Brigade is what you were.
Brigade is
thinking
what
would be
I
going
yeah.
on.
So
Brigade.
like the thing is, like, you're gonna spend the same amount of time rendering in Unreal as you would be in, like, say, Cinema. So there's no advantage to doing it unless you want to. And I'm curious how the
Right.
like, say you do all your materials and stuff in Octane and then bring that over to Unreal, you know, using the Datasmith plugin, like whether it makes them Octane materials or not. I'm curious
I think
about that.
That's where these universal textures are
Yeah,
coming into play. So
yeah, that'd be sweet.
um,
But you know, once Brigade
Yeah.
comes out, it's going to be absolutely killer. Like, it's going to be insane.
yeah,
It's going to be insane.
the 3080 bench scores are out as well, and
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. What was it? I'll have to look on it here and see. I don't remember it. This is the Facebook post that Jules put
Now,
up.
yeah, these are the Octane bench scores, right?
Yeah, but he keeps kind of like saying things indirectly
Mm-hmm.
when he does these posts, and you know, at first it was kind of like the hype of what is the 3080 bench score going to
Right.
be, but this is also the hype of what the 3090 bench score is going to be on the 3080 bench score, because he says it's lonely being a 3080 at the top, but
Mhm.
not for long.
Right.
3090 octane bench dropping shortly is so far looking like it's about 1.2 times the octane bench score of the 3080.
Yeah, but only
so just shy.
what is that?
Just shy of 700 octane bench score at standard clocking
Jeez.
rates
that's
with
insane.
one card, 700. So I mean, you
Yeah,
probably
but look,
fit two
like,
of those
so-
chunky boys in a machine, but
Right.
1400 bench score.
Right.
What would you get with 4 3080s then?
For 3080s, you would get. Oh man, I don't know.
3080 is
16.
565.
Yeah. So you're looking at almost like a 2000, you know, and you're
So it would be
spending less
better to
money.
throw
I'm telling you,
3080s
the
in there.
3080s are the best CUDA per price, you know?
Yeah.
Because only getting
What is
what,
it?
like a
CUDAs
20%
per dollar, CPD.
CPD? I don't know.
Yeah.
Getting only what, like a 20% increase on a 3090, but you're also spending, you know, twice as much and a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But 8K gaming though.
8K gaming though. But I
You
mean,
don't
so
have
that's
a-
why,
you
like,
don't have an $80,000 8K monitor you can try that out on?
I'm telling you, the 1080 or the 3080 Ti's are where it's going to be, because I feel like the Ti's have always been the best, like, for our industry, you know, like, unless you're like at a studio and you've got, you know, already been chewed money and you can just throw Titans whenever you want, you know, like the TI versions I feel are going to be the best, because it's going to have the best, it'll be the best cost per RAM, you know, for VRAM and CUDA score or whatever. I don't know.
Apparently 3090 scores are out as well,
Yeah.
but I hadn't seen it come across my feed yet for some
me look
reason.
online.
But he hinted at that, so maybe you can find that. But in the meantime, also the last thing I have on the render section is V-Ray 5 beta.
Oh, yes. I've actually been on the alpha for a while. I haven't said anything because I emailed them. I said, hey, we run this podcast. Can I talk about it? And they're like, please don't talk about it. All right. So, but it's not too bad. Like, I mean, it's V-Ray. I love V-Ray. I've always had a secret love for V-Ray because I feel like V-Ray, a Corona now. So basically the whole Chaos Group family, incorporate the C4D like user really well because you don't have to go into nodes if you don't want, and that's what I've always loved about V-Ray, and that's the reason why I'm still on Octane, because if I don't want to go into nodes, I don't have to. I can just use the drop downs and stuff like that, and it's very nice.
Why wouldn't you want to go to nodes though?
I don't love nodes. I feel so like in a shame box because everyone's like, why don't you like nodes? It's like, I just don't like nodes. Do I have to love nodes to love 3D?
Well,
if
you want to get detailed, you need
not
nodes,
necessarily. Like I can do all my drop downs. That's how I learned in cinema years and years ago. My mind works with the drop downs and like the mixing textures and the multiplies and stuff like that. It's like, I can work in nodes. I just don't love to. It's once they start making nodes easier to use, then sure, maybe I'll move over to nodes, But it's like, I don't know, like just connecting the little thing to the thing, like it's annoying. It's annoying,
You want to work fast.
I want to work
slows
faster.
Down your
yeah.
It does slow you down a little bit. I can see that.
Anyway,
because you got to stop and like draw the lines and think about it. Think about I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to think about the structure of it a little more. I understand that.
Yeah.
But one of the questions that's coming up in the chat is about 3090.
Whoa.
The 3090 has NVLink. That's the advantage.
3090 is a 668. A 3090 and a 3080 is a 1215.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Lucky says, stop being afraid of Nodini. So the whole thing with the 3090s is NVLink. The NVLink allows you to really up your RAM, which is understandable if you have really large projects.
I bet you those 3080 Ti's are going to have NVLink. I bet you it is.
Even if they don't, they'll have more VRAM.
Yeah. Yes, they will.
So
yeah.
So that's the thing. Yeah. Maybe, out of core is the answer to that, right?
Right.
And it doesn't always work very well. That's the issue.
Optimizing your scene. I've ran out of core, or I've only gone out of core like maybe twice in my life. You just instance.
But it can be problematic.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes things like screw up, and especially I think if you're doing network rendering, there tends to be more issues if there's out of core for some reason.
Yes.
In my personal experience.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
So the V-Ray beta is out.
Yeah,
if y'all want to
V-Ray.
give it a try, I like it.
Oh,
I think it's great.
Tell everybody what the email said.
Which email?
The subject line of the email.
Oh,
didn't you say?
Yeah. So for those who are on the Chaos group, it said, rediscover V-Ray for C4D. I love that subject line. It's like, okay, we know that y'all haven't been using V-Ray for a while, but here we go.
We know that you jumped off to Octane.
We're still relevant. Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
It does have the GPU rendering and the CPU rendering, which is great,
Yeah.
Yeah. Built-in compositing, interactive light mixing. Dozens of new features. Dozens! There's dozens of us. I'm just glad Chaos Group took it back, and are like. Yeah. I feel like they were like a year or two too late taking it back. If they had taken it back earlier, they would still be a major contender in the game.
But they still could be. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
They could make some magic leaps in some of it. There's still a ridiculous amount of people using V-Ray. We're not discounting it in that way.
Yeah.
It's just in the render wars.
Yeah.
If you were to measure the places in the render wars,
Yeah.
Right now, it still seems like it's that neck and neck Octane,
I
Redshift, and Arnold,
Yeah.
depending on the situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw Chad Ashley posted a video in the Arnold Slack channel that was like the 6 best reasons why Arnold is the best render engine for C4D, and I wanted to post in the comments, what is bestrenderengine.com? I don't know.
Thebestrenderengine.com.
Thebestrenderengine.com.
There's two, thebestrenderengine.com, and what was the other one?
I don't know.
I don't remember. There's 2
No idea.
addresses. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm working on Rando Render 2.0 right now.
Ooh. It's going to be fun. Because,
So,
let's
at
work
some
on that
point.
instead of your course.
Right.
You need
right.
another distraction.
I got to have a little variety
Right.
in my life, So.
All
All right. Well, let's move on to topics. Let's talk about you, Tatiana. Let's talk about your journey in motion graphics. I guess the best way to do this is to start at the beginning. And first of all, where are you from originally?
I'm from far east of Russia, so it's basically the other side from Moscow. So it's like a 2-hour flight from Japan, actually.
Okay.
So this is like the best way to kind of give people some idea of where it is.
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you there before? Because you moved to Seattle at some point.
Yeah,
Was that before or after school, or
it was
work?
way after school. So it was just 6 years ago when I
Okay.
moved to the United States. So I'm like still pretty new, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
where did you go to school? And did you even learn motion graphics in school, or did you learn it online?
so I went to school for architecture. So it's like close enough.
That's right. Yeah.
But this is where I actually by accident got introduced to Cinema 4D.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how it's all kind of started, like by complete accident. I think I got into motion design because everybody was like using kind of 3D Max at school, but to me it was always so complicated, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't like wrap my head around it. And my brother found somewhere like I don't know where he even like read about it, like, but he found out about cinema and he got it for me, and he's like, hey, this is like, and it was like version 7, I think, maybe even like
Nice.
before that. So
Yeah.
it's like a long time ago actually. And it was like so easy, like just throw some primitives in there and you like can kind of like intuitively learn the basics. And it's like, it seems for me to like way easier to use than versus 3D Max. But then at some point I'm kind of like stuck with it because nobody else was using it around me, and like there was no one to ask. And then again, by total accident, there was like, I don't know, like 3 tutorials back then online
Yeah,
or something
it wasn't a
about
lot.
cinema. And one of them was made by a designer from our local TV station. And I saw it in his email that it's like, it's that television. And I was like, oh, they probably use cinema in there, and I should probably go ask some help. And then I just like showed up in the TV station, like, and I was like, I'm still a student, but like I like cinema, and you guys seems to be using it, and I can like maybe help out and learn somewhat like a little bit about the software more. And then I was kind of started hanging out with everyone there, and eventually kind of like full-time position opened up, and I
That's
got
cool.
into like became like a television motion, how it's like back in the days they called it like designer. So there was like I didn't even know what motion designer is back then, so we were just
Yeah.
designers who's like moving stuff. And and this is where I've learned everything about After Effects and all
So
things
you hadn't
television.
been in After Effects before?
No, I actually started in cinema before After Effects.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
path on that. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then because of like the deadlines were so crazy in television, and back then it's like render took forever. There was no like
Yeah.
GPU render, right? Like, and it's just we almost never actually used cinema for like like important projects. So opposite, I got comfortable with After Effects like for a long time, and only like 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, okay, I've been using Cinema for so long and I'm still like kind of like not great at it. So I just need to like, step up my game and start using it more. So it's like kind of like weird path.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way of, it's a good example of why networking works.
Yeah.
First of all, that you got the job. And it is interesting because architecture has been so 3ds Max focused for so long. And it's still just huge in architecture. And I think some of the houses like that Matt and I have worked with before they have Cinema 4D, they might have Octane, but I think a lot of them still just step back to, like we were talking about earlier, V-Ray and 3D Max. And that's why I said V-Ray still is such a huge thing. And I think there's a lot of it still going because of architecture. Did you feel like there were people who were anti-Cinema 4D?
In the television world, no, because they were like, it was the best software, even like back in the days, like 2006 or something. It's like, it was still like way more comfortable than anything else. We had like people who worked in 3D Max at work, but majority was cinema based. But in my college, yes, everybody was like using 3D Max, and they were like, because cinema was so new back then, they were like, it's not like...
Yeah. I feel like the architecture people who use 3D Max tend to be very anti-Cinema 4D. It's interesting.
Here's the thing that I found with architectural 3D Max, like, and you mentioned it was really hard to find tutorials and stuff, because I felt like back in the day, people held a lot of their stuff close to them, like they didn't want to let any of their secrets out. This is the way I felt like, at least coming up in my career. And I don't know if this was the same for y'all, but like people weren't into sharing their secrets. It's like they had to discover it on their own, and they didn't want anyone else taking their job,
Right.
So like, yeah, it was the way it was in like the post house that I worked at first. Like no one wanted to like share anything. Everyone wanted to keep their secrets because they wanted to be able to, keep their job and stuff like that. And then once we were in cinema, it's like trying to find stuff about architectural rendering or interior rendering and stuff like that. It was nearly impossible to find, unless you found one person who was willing to give away that information through like a paid course or something like that, like trying to find stuff on V-Ray. It's like, forget it.
Well, because Sage said this too. Sage told us in the architecture industry, it's very much people keep their secrets close. Did you find that in architecture, people were not very quick to share? Like they didn't have that community sense that motion graphics has, or were people pretty big on sharing like rendering secrets and things like that?
I think like in Russia, at least, all my college mates, they were like sharing with each other, like who was working in 3D Max. They were like completely okay with it. That's and good. They were like helping each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was not an issue.
And tell us more about that. Did you first of all, did you complete college, or did you move to motion graphics? Like, did you finish your degree in architecture?
There was not an option, to move anywhere else. So it's because like Russian colleges, they work differently. And so I graduated, and I have bachelor, and I studied total 6 years. So we have like, it's called, I think, university degree. So yeah, I'm like certified architect, I guess. But
nice.
I just never worked as one. So not really.
But it certainly helps you, right? Like if you're designing stuff, it certainly helps to have that background.
Yeah, it's like we've been studying all kind of like composition and color theory and things like that. So it was a good base for any kind of design. So it definitely helps.
Yeah,
because your stuff, you have a couple kind of architecture-y things, but on your website, I'll bring that up here on your website, like this one here, I guess you could consider that, architecture, but the stuff that you have here is more illustrative.
Yeah.
In comparison, which is interesting. Have you ever had any like massive like worlds and stuff come up where you get to utilize that architecture background?
Like some kind of project where I would need my knowledge of. No, it was never like architecture related, the work that I did. So sometimes I think it just like influenced me because I have this background and I love creating like this little interiors, right? Like asymmetric rooms and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of maybe. And also architecture, I think it's a great inspiration for motion design in general. If you like watching new buildings that was built and like following the architecture style, they can definitely inspire you to create a great animation and design in general.
Yeah.
So you were there and you were doing television, and at what point, what happened for you to decide to move?
Yeah, I'm curious about that
US?
too. Like, at what point do you decide to come to the US to find work? And what's that process like, you know?
So it also was a total accident, actually. Have you heard about diversity lottery?
No.
So it's a thing that American government do for almost all the countries in the world. There is like some exclusions. You can kind of like apply online, and then they randomly select people to give green cards to.
Interesting.
So it's like lottery for green card.
Okay.
So I applied and I won. So this is how it happened. So it's just like I was like lucky lottery winner. So I could come to US and work and do whatever, basically as a permanent resident.
That's super cool.
Did you did you have a specific place you were going to work, or did you just come over and begin doing freelance? Or
I was doing a lot of research before going, so I kind of had like this list of cities where it's a lot of work for motion designers, and I was like making lists of pros and cons of every city, and then it came down to Seattle.
Nice.
There was a lot of process.
The Pacific
in
Northwest also has there's a big Russian population there as well.
Yeah.
When I lived in Portland, there were quite a few Russian shops and stuff. You know, that we used to go to.
Yeah, it's a lot of Russians.
I'm interested in your pros and cons for Seattle, like what they were.
Well, I've never lived in a big city before New York. Like right now I'm in New York, so I didn't really want to start with a really big city because I thought it's like too overwhelming and also expensive.
Yeah.
I was a really long time I was debating between San Francisco and Seattle, but San Francisco was like seemed insanely expensive.
Yeah.
And Seattle was balance of everything, I think, and it's just like not too big, not too small city, has jobs. Tolerable weather, no winter. I didn't want any winter after Russia, so like no snow anymore for me. Please.
Yeah.
So this is how I basically decided where to go.
And what did you work on once you got to Seattle?
But total, I don't know, like by some luck, I found a full-time job pretty fast, actually, in a month.
That's nice.
Once I arrived, and it was a great start for me. It was like a small agency where I got to see how like motion design in Russia compared to US motion design. It was like very similar. Thankfully, all software is the same, like After Effects, Cinema. So that was awesome. And it's like I basically kind of like jump started from there.
That's cool.
So
was it the how many years did you work at the news station?
About 8, almost 8 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of experience going into a studio. I can see why you got a job really quickly. That's great.
I mean, my portfolio was not that great, I would say. It's better now, but somehow I got it, so it was great.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm interested to know the differences in styles. So you're using the same software when you come over here, but as far as artistic styles and things like that and trends, did you notice a difference? Was there a like kind of a design trend that is different there than it is here, or do you feel like globally the design trends are the same?
I think they were the same because when I was moving to US, shape layers kind of taken over everything. So everything was shape layers. All the animation was like vector based and all that stuff. So it was kind of the same where I'm from, and it was the same in Seattle. So it was easy to transit and from one country to another that way. So I think they kind of universal because like I keep seeing the trends come and go, kind of like rotation of styles.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
There's that whole like Octane and everything got big, so this whole photorealism thing really exploded, and space, forest, all that kind of stuff. And then it pulled back to illustrative pretty hardcore. It feels like it's almost like the technology was being pushed to do the realistic stuff, and in the meantime, that technology allowed for the simpler shape layer videos and illustrative work to be done faster as well. So it's like, oh wait, we could use this to do like simpler stuff as well.
It's funny, like a lot of the early stuff that EJ was doing, like these little characters and whatever. I believe I called it in one of our earlier episodes where I said this is going to be where the future of motion design is going to. So I just like to say that I'm a forward thinker, and that I called it. So, sorry, go ahead.
You win 10 internet dollars.
I get 10 points.
So, what types of projects were you working on? What clients?
Yeah, and what was the studio like? Was it different, jumping from news, into like a studio with? I'm assuming, a different type of clientele, right?
So it was different kind of like Seattle clients, mostly Microsoft because it's like the biggest client in the area, Amazon, Microsoft, big companies like that. It was all sorts of different work, and it was kind of interesting, jump from one project to another, try it out. And
what other clients?
It was Puget Sound Blood Center.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
I know Puget Sound.
Oh, really? Yeah. So
and then at what point did you move to New York? Is it with the same company or
no?
Did you
No. I actually spent not that long at that company, and then I was freelancing for a bit in the area, and then I got to Microsoft.
Oh, cool.
And then I was in-house at Microsoft for a while, and after that I got it at AT&T in-house, also on the video team. And then I moved to New York, and I worked for my team in Seattle for AT&T. And then I switched to Amazon here in New York. So now I work at Amazon.
Just working at all these big companies and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah. We might have met some of the same people. Did you ever work with anybody in the Dallas AT&T?
No, unfortunately not. Only with Seattle and New York teams.
Because they, I guess, moved their headquarters here not too long ago.
Yeah.
So now,
did they?
Yeah, the main headquarters it's huge. They bought all these buildings in downtown next to each other, and they're converting the grounds so it's like a campus.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Shutting down streets and stuff. Yeah.
Of course, I haven't been to downtown Dallas in how long?
I know, neither have I.
It's funny.
It wasn't really where you wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
For a while over the last year.
So what was the transition like going from Seattle to New York?
It was very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's completely different world, New York, I would say, comparison to the rest of the United States. And I think it would be probably easy if I moved here from Russia.
Yeah.
Directly, but then like you got to this comfort of Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Things kind of like chill and beautiful nature and all that stuff, and then like you come to New York and there is no washer and dryer, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
It's medieval times, basically.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. What do you think okay, well, I guess before I get into that, tell us about, are you working on any projects, like any shorts of your own or anything like that? Do you even have time for side work, I guess is the first question.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on personal projects ever since, like, about 3 years ago. I was like, yeah, I need to step up my game with cinema, and I really need to, like, put time after work and doing more. So I started working on a lot of personal projects on whatever free time I had. And ever since, I'm trying to keep up with that and, like, just never stop. So right now I'm kind of like didn't have time because I was beta testing EJ new course for School of Motion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
how is it?
That's why I didn't have any time for, like, personal projects, like, for the last, like, 3 months. But other than that, I usually, like, constantly working on something on my own time.
This is the Ascent, right?
Ascent, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How is it?
It was great.
How much are you able to say at this point?
Right.
Is it officially, is it out? Or the sign-ups, is it out?
Sign-up is out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I would recommend to everyone, and, like, with basically any kind of knowledge of cinema, unless you, like, I think it's the best for people who go after Cinema 4D Basecamp when you have these basics set up. And even for me, who's like, I kind of knew about all of the things, like dynamics, but I never got to use it, like, for reals in life. Like, or I would use it, like, such a long time ago that I already forgot how to do it. So it was, like, great for me to kind of, like, wrap my head around everything and kind of, like, itemize it and get better in all things cinema in a very short time. And you have to practice it, and it's very great, because when you just, like, watching tutorial and then you think you kind of get it, but then you're really not. And if you're doing like tasks afterwards, then this is where you know, oh, okay, I actually get it, how to do it.
Yeah, there's still like 1 week left for signups on the Cinema 4D Ascent course.
Stellar Elite says, so excited I start next week. Yeah. EJ's going to be on the show. We're going to do a Halloween special on the 30th of October.
Oh,
I don't have a time yet for that. That's going to be Friday, day before.
And speaking of Halloween, if y'all are interested in watching the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors episodes with us, it's our normal October thing. We will.
It's awesome.
So I downloaded Parsec. I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but we may be doing it on Parsec. So I'll have to see what
if
that's
we can
about.
Get that working.
Yeah. But if not, then we may just be doing like the Disney Plus sharing thing or something. I don't know.
I love Simpsons and Treehouse of Horrors, like my favorite usually.
It's funny how often, like, I realized this week how often I quote the Treehouse of Horrors episodes because Dave and I have watched them.
Right.
We've watched them every year for what, like 4 or 5 years now.
And I was doing it before that. I've been doing it since I had it on VHS.
Yeah. So you watch, we've got enough for one for every day. And some days we'll probably do 2, so you don't have to watch them on the weekends. It'll be fun.
Yeah, whatever day it is of the month, that's the number you should be up to.
Yeah.
So if it's the 14th, you need to be on Treehouse 14. Yeah. Of course, I always watch the first 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Over and over during Halloween as well.
So if you're interested in joining us for that, either shoot us an email, or if you're on the Slack, join the Bat, what is it, the Bat Signal channel?
Bat Signal?
Yeah. Because maybe we'll throw it out there for anyone who wants to join.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would be fun. I love during this time of year, because it's fall, you crack the window and you get the crisp air coming in. But what I like to do is to put it on while I'm working on Halloween stuff in cinema or something. Yeah. So you got that going. I make my lights orange in here. Halloween theme. And I've got the whole theme, and it has like some, because it's the strip lights, it has some hints of yellow. But I like the whole vibe, pumpkin spice latte, watching Halloween stuff. I don't know why I like.
Do you get your cranberry
Halloween theme? Look,
nice.
See, it doesn't translate well with the white balance I currently
not
have.
at all.
It doesn't look like it, but yeah. Oh, I'm in the wrong scene here.
Yeah, you are. There you go.
There we go.
Nice.
Back to normal. There we go. So, gosh, what else was I going to
Tatiana,
ask?
I was going to ask you this. So how long did you spend freelancing while you were in Seattle?
About 6 months.
Okay. What was the scene like there? Was it really easy to get work, or were you aching to get back into a studio?
I think it's, for me personally, is like full-time works better. It's just like I like the sense of stability.
Mm-hmm.
Although before the pandemic started, I was really considering going freelance here in New York.
Yeah.
But it's just like I thought it was like too crazy to do it.
Yeah.
Considering the situation. And yeah, in Seattle is also, there is like a lot of small companies who get work from big companies like Microsoft, Amazon. Now it's like also Google in the area and Facebook. And then they hire freelancers to do it. So it's usually like that. Or you get a contract directly in these big companies, and then you kind of like freelance for them for a while.
Yeah. I bet there's a lot of that trickle down type agency work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what is called? I forgot the word. How they call this?
Is there a name for it?
Staffing agencies. Yes.
What is
I think
it?
it's staffing agencies.
Yeah, staffing agencies.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. I imagine that it's competitive too in somewhere like New York to decide to go freelance. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of work, but also it seems like it would be competitive. I don't really know if anybody we know in New York has ever really talked about that.
I don't know.
From a freelance
All the people that I know
perspective,
in New York, like they seem, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the people in New York who are freelance seem to be relatively booked all the time, Like they've got a steady stream of income and stuff.
Yeah, I think so, because it's like, at least before the pandemic, it seems like so many jobs here, and you like never...
Yeah.
Well, hopefully everyone will go remote after that, though. So you don't have to be in this, like in LA or New York to freelance for these agencies and companies and studios.
Yeah. It's been a the whole pandemic has been definitely interesting for remote workers, like opportunities that we wouldn't normally have, being a remote worker versus, because of this and them requiring remote workers, we've been able to pick up a lot of new and interesting jobs that we wouldn't have normally gotten, Oh,
really?
And I'm curious. Yeah. Like there was one job that we bid on. This was before the pre-pandemic, where, we were just going to do some basic, we were going to be just one of the people working on it. And then they saw our reel and they're like, hey, would you be okay with, basically spearheading this entire project? And I'm sure. And then she realized I wasn't in New York. I didn't live there.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh man, I thought you were local. I was like, nah, I'm in Dallas. Sorry. And so we didn't end up getting that gig, but it's like, now.
But now during the pandemic.
Yeah. If that had happened, it'd be like, here you go.
Wouldn't have mattered.
The whole project, because I feel like a lot of companies were also hesitant to use remote workers because, they didn't understand how easy it was to communicate, or to get in touch or whatever with these remote workers. And some of the people, some of the clients that we're working with, it's like, it's almost easier, than even being in like a studio with them, because you're on Slack and it's like, okay, it's like 4 sentences, that you would normally have to get on a phone call with, or like go into their office and ask questions or something. It's like, it's so much easier now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was there anybody that you knew in New York when you moved there, or was it just straight up just left Seattle and by yourself in New York?
Yeah. I have friends who live upstate, and they moved like from Seattle a while ago. But we just like, so me and my partner, we just decided like we always wanted to have this New York experience.
Yeah.
And now we have it, a pandemic New York experience.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So it's even better, right?
I feel like everyone should have that experience. You know? Like living in a really tight-knit city like that, and then maybe going and working someplace like Dallas where you have to, drive 45 minutes just to get anywhere,
Yeah.
It definitely gives you an appreciation for all different walks of life.
Well, I mean, if subway would actually work here properly, it would. Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah.
But it's actually like half of the times it's just like you're stuck somewhere and the train is not running.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
What about long term? Do you feel like, are you going to stay there? Or do you feel like maybe you're going to, I don't know, move to the country or something? I don't know.
Yeah, and is there any chance that you could go back to Russia? Is that like even on the table?
Not to Russia, hopefully.
Yeah.
Unless Trump wins again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my question too, is whether or not, whether or not you miss that. Because I know a lot of people who go back and forth,
Mhm.
who are we talking about this week, Matt? Brett.
Yeah, Brett
Morris. Like he came here and he started a bunch of stuff and then he was able to kind of go back home,
Mhm.
which was nice for him, back around family and stuff. I didn't know if you maybe have family that are back home. Are you more comfortable here, or are you missing relatives and things?
Yeah, I miss my family. They're all still there, but I feel way more comfortable. I feel like I actually belong here, in the United States more than in Russia right now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not planning on coming back anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
I'm coming back to Seattle though next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it are you going back to Seattle with the same job?
Yeah, it's actually, my gig is actually in Seattle, so but
Nice.
because everyone remote now,
Right. That's nice.
yeah.
That's convenient.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
but eventually I
So-
need to be there for it.
As far as and not specific numbers or anything, of course, but as far as pay goes between Russia and here, is it a pretty significant difference? Because I know some of it translates differently as far as exchange and cost of living and things,
Mhm.
but how does that compare?
Yeah, you can't even compare it because in Russia everything, like, salaries is smaller, but also everything is cheaper, right? So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
this balance. But overall, no, I think it pays better here anyway. Even
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a hard thing to do, and the exchange rate and cost of living and everything affects everybody differently because of the fact that we're such a global world now. Everything is so global, and it's like, even when it comes to courses and things, we were talking to EJ about this the other day over text. Like when it comes to things like courses, for example, or plugins or things like that, render engines, even buying stuff like that, it when you look at it from like a monthly perspective for somebody who does the type of work that we all do here, it's like, oh, well, I could pay X amount of dollars for Octane per month. That's not a big deal because I can cover that or whatever. But then you look at a course or something, it's like, okay, if a course is $300 here and it's super long and it's valuable, you're like, okay, I'll pay $300 for that. But then you've got people overseas who are like, $300 because of the way the exchange system works is a ridiculous amount of money. And it's hard to even figure out, well, how can you make it fair for everybody?
Yeah.
And then not have people that take advantage of the system and say, oh, well, I'm actually from here, so give it to me for $1.
Right.
How do you translate that value? It's been difficult.
Yeah.
I don't really.
You don't have an answer for it.
I don't have an answer. I don't
Yeah.
expect an answer, but it's something that we keep churning on. It's like, how can we give a course to somebody for the equivalent of what it would be here?
Yeah.
So maybe somebody will come up with $1 million idea that will
Yeah.
figure all that out, but I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
So you're working for who right now?
Amazon.
Amazon. That's right. How's oh boy, and I talked a bunch of crap about Amazon, sorry. At the
It's
beginning
all right.
of the show.
I don't feel personally responsible for it,
Right.
so it's fine.
Yeah. Did you do any work for them while you were in Seattle?
I think I did like a small project as a freelance long time ago, but Amazon is so big, so I work for actually Amazon Web Services.
Okay.
So it's like just like small part, right, of this giant
like S3
company.
type stuff.
Yeah, it's a cloud, right?
Yeah,
I'm still also
like
learning
S3
about it.
and,
So
and
it's
Glacier.
it's a lot of
all
technical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you getting
Is
in
it-
with these big companies? Because even just one of these big companies is, some people's just dream job. It's like, I want to work for Microsoft. How is it that you're able to get in with these companies so easily?
I mean, it wasn't easy. And it's like it was a process, of course, and working on your portfolio and interviewing and working on interviews, because interviews are also hard, especially if it's like not your native language, right? And so it was a process, definitely. So I practiced a lot, and it was a lot of ups and downs before I started passing interviews for jobs.
Yeah.
She's good at schmoozing, man.
Yeah, I know. That's good. That's good.
Just like you, right?
Yeah. Not lately.
Yeah.
I haven't been out. I forget how to talk to people now.
Right. What's that like?
Oh.
I've got a couple links here. I thought I'd bring up real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Number one, I mentioned it at the end of the show last week, and I forgot to bring this up with an actual link and everything. So this will be in the show notes. This is Orphan House, which is Mitch Meyer's Planet Pack version 2.
Yes.
Like super high res textures and things like that. So if you like the space, you should definitely get that. And the other link here is for Parsec, which you were just trying out this morning.
So I've been hearing a lot about Parsec lately, Parsec. If you search it on Google, I don't know the exact website, parsecgaming.com. So it's kind of a gaming, like a team viewer, log me in, something like that, where you can access your computer remotely, like from another computer, from, I don't know if you can do it on your iPad. You can't do it on your iPhone, unfortunately, but it's free, which is great. And it allows you to do 60 frame per second gaming remotely, which is absolutely insane. So like, this is why we were thinking of maybe doing the streaming party, on Parsec, because it's great. You can just share a link and everyone can join on Chrome and just watch your screen, and you can chat together, which is cool. And like if you want to play 2-player games on Parsec, you can use Parsec, where you can just have someone connect and then they can use their keyboard and mouse or their controller, and it'll automatically see it, which is fantastic. It's very, very cool. And it's free. If you want to do the Parsec Warp, it's like $10 a month or $100 a year, and it gives you, I think it gives you what is it? Better color. It'll give you 444 dual streaming, which is insane. 444, that's insane.
That's insane.
You can use multiple screens and stuff like that if you're doing the paid one. The free one only allows you one. But it's cool. So I went and installed it, and it's a really quick install. I installed it on my gaming PC to test it out on this PC that I'm on right now, just to see how well it did. And I played Rocket League, and I didn't notice a difference at all. It was insane. So anyway, parsecgaming.com, check it out, because it was very, very cool. So what you're saying is I could somehow stream video games to my laptop in the other room. I think so. Yeah. I'd be interested to see
even.
if you can do it really well with your laptop,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to. I would also love to see. I would love to see implemented. I don't know if it's possible for them to incorporate NDI into this.
Yeah.
Like Skype uses NDI, and you can use that in your what is it? Like OBS or something like that. And being able to incorporate that into OBS would be super killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, we have a segment here that we call Mograph Recommends.
yes.
And I think this is going to be fun because of your musical taste.
Yes.
I think this will be a fun conversation.
I was watching through your presentation from SIGGRAPH, and
that's what I was going to mention. Yeah.
And I loved that you were wearing like a green blazer or whatever with a Metallica shirt underneath it. It was awesome. So cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried to look like my avatar.
Right. Yeah, look just like it. Yeah.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do, we go through and we do everybody's favorites. What was the one we were gonna? Oh, game we were gonna add, right? I'm gonna put that in here. I need to change my template here. All right, but we're gonna start with movies. We're gonna ask you your favorite movie, and these can be either recent or of all time. It's up to you. So.
I love movies, so it's really hard to choose like just one. So I think I have like two categories, like the ones that you like can watch all over again, and really good ones that you really like, but you're not gonna watch it again, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like different categories, and I think Beetlejuice was the one that I could like watch in my childhood, like every month, probably once or twice or something.
Yeah.
And like early Tim Burton, I love pretty much everything before he got to Disney.
I agree.
And then Fight Club. I would say it's just like classic. And I love this writer, Chuck Palahniuk.
Chuck Palahniuk is great. Especially being from the Pacific Northwest. He was from Portland.
Yeah.
He sorry to interrupt. He's got this book called oh gosh, I forget the name of the book. It's all about him growing up in Portland and all the crazy stories that he experienced while growing up in Portland. Anyway, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Chuck Palahniuk is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually met him once at Comic-Con in Seattle.
Hi, my name is Sashia Dumont. I'm a writer, actor, and filmmaker.
Hi, my name is Paul Robinson. I'm a director, DP, and filmmaker. We are the creators and hosts of the Go Gorilla Filmcast, an online source for all things indie film.
We are a husband and wife film team and co-owners of Sen3 Productions, and we started this podcast for filmmakers like ourselves who were producing on micro budgets with skeleton crews.
Go Gorilla is a weekly podcast that features various talents in TV, film, and web series productions.
We've interviewed filmmaker powerhouses like Kestrin Pantera,
Richard Raymond,
Alex Ferrari,
Cassandra Ebner,
and Ryan Connolly. Amazing actors like Hannah Ward,
Lou Taylor Pucci,
Chris Wataski,
and Eileen Gruba.
Groundbreaking cinematographers like Jody Lee Lipes,
and Jessica Lee Gagné, and many more.
We also offer weekly reviews of our favorite films and shows, which vary from low-budget first-time filmmakers to A-listers and everyone in between. Go Gorilla is proud to announce that we have officially joined the Mograph Podcast Network.
So if you love filmmaking as much as we do,
tune in every Sunday for a new episode of the Go Gorilla Filmcast, your source for all things indie film. Now available on the Mograph Podcast Network.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did a picture and he signed a book and that was awesome.
That's awesome.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fight Club, Seven. So I think another David Fincher. 200 Cigarettes. I don't know if you heard of it. It's like the movie I always watch on New Year's. It's kind of like tradition.
Is it the black? No, that's Coffee and Cigarettes. Sorry, go ahead.
No. 200 Cigarettes is kind of like it's. I don't think a lot of people know about that movie, but like everyone is in it. It's Ben Affleck, Paul Rudd, Kate Hudson, I think, Courtney Love. So it's like a lot of famous people is in it, and it's about New Year's Eve in New York in 80s.
Cool. Okay.
In Soho. So love that movie.
And now what about, okay, so now we're to music. So this should be a fun conversation. Overall, favorite artist of all time, who would that be?
Music, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, what do you think? Of course, Metallica and Megadeth. I actually like all things rock, like Soundgarden, Cake, indie rock like Franz Ferdinand, Arctic Monkeys. So it's a lot of bands actually I'll listen to.
Yeah.
Amazon's is like
I like all
new.
those.
Yeah.
What about what's the type of music, Matt, that what is your favorite? Is it punk or is it
It's kind of punk, I enjoy good punk rock. It's just something with like a really energetic driving beat,
Like
something
Green Day?
fast. Green Day's okay. The early stuff like Dookie was a great album, but mostly like I don't know, like the Ramones, the Screeching Weasel, Sex Pistols,
Classic.
Propaganda, love Propaganda. They're great. I've been big into ska lately. I really like ska music. Was that what you were trying to pull out of me that I've been listening to ska
No,
lately?
it wasn't. That is funny though.
Yeah, anything
'cause your
from
Facebook post.
from the first 2 Tony Hawk games, sure. That just put it on,
Right.
just put it on repeat.
There you go.
That's funny.
This ska. What was the meme I sent you? It's ska is like what's going through a 6-year-old's head when he gets extra mozzarella sticks.
No, it's like it's funny. Like I don't know. I enjoy ska. Like Real Big Fish is one of my favorite bands. I've seen them a ton of times in concert. My first concert ever was Less Than Jake Ska Against Racism. It was like a big festival full of like tons of ska bands. It was all day. It was awesome. And
Did you?
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you start listening to Metallica and Megadeth and everything early, like when you were super young, or when did you start listening to it?
I was like 14, 15-year-old when I got into it, and I never could get away.
Yeah.
It's just
Is it
still
big in
kind of-
Russia? Is it like, or even bigger in Russia?
Oh, I think Russia loves Metallica. They absolutely love them.
Because back in like the 80s and stuff, the 80s punk stuff was really big there too, right? I thought it was.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what television has led me to believe.
Oh, really?
Is that
What did it tell you? The television.
so? There was and I just kind of the whole culture, the whole punk style, all of that in the 80s in Russia was. I mean, it was big here too, but it also caught on really big over there, according to TV shows that I watched growing up. But it's like, is that really what it is, or is that just what people are portraying?
Maybe
on TV?
it was before my time a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, it was like, I think Nirvana was really big in Russia too.
Yeah.
Metallica, Prodigy. Does anyone remember Prodigy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's what I remember from
the
top of my
band,
head.
not the internet service.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Had to think about that
Man,
one.
Matt, you had to think on that one
think
too.
on that joke. That was stretching it.
Wow, Prodigy.
Oh, it's
Come on, everybody remembers Prodigy, right? From this 90s internet. That was pre AOL.
right. It's funny.
Do you listen to this stuff while you're working, or do you find it distracting?
I actually find it distracting. I mostly never listen to music when I'm working.
Yeah.
In spite of what
at
I
all?
created for my avatar. It's actually not true.
Right. Is that so? You not even like a chill hop or anything? You just like silence, or do you listen?
Well, actually, for some reason, I don't know why, but I work the best and most productive when I watch some kind of background TV shows. Like
I can see that. I can see
Friends,
that.
Office, something like this, like that you watch multiple times and you just like going on the background and it's kind of like this noise and stuff and like
Yeah.
I'm like super productive with it. I don't know why.
It's something that you can watch without actually having to watch.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you've seen it so many times, you know what's going on so that you can concentrate.
Yeah.
It's like you can put your visual brain somewhere else,
There was a study on that actually, on why that's comforting to do something like put on not just for working, but just in general. If you want to go to bed, you put on The Office, and it's something about your brain already knows how it resolves.
Yeah.
The conflict
Maybe, yeah.
resolves.
Yeah,
Is gonna,
I also saw
so,
something along the lines. It's like the amount of stress, like watching a new TV show will kind of stress you out a little bit, but because you know how it ends, it's less stressful.
You're like, okay, I know, it's all like, it's gonna be okay
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
Ross and
Speaking of
Rachel
which,
wound up
that's-
together. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers! Oh
And
no!
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, right. If you haven't watched it by now,
yeah,
Matt.
right.
So that was going to be the next question. Actually, was your favorite TV show? Maybe currently watching and all time.
Yeah, of all time, I think if Dexter would end it on season 4, that would be like the perfect show of all times for me. But unfortunately, it didn't. So it's really hard to tell with TV shows because a lot of them started so good, like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, right? And then you're like, oh my god, it's not going well. And
Why I don't watch shows in real time.
You don't?
I don't. No. Lost burned me too bad. I won't do it
Oh,
again.
really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There it is. It's Kevin.
No,
Oh,
even if
there's
it's not
Kevin.
in real time, it's like if it's like, bad writing, like in the end, it's like it's nothing can fix that, It's like, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And from the recent, I'm watching The Boys right now. I really like it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I've watched like the first episode, but that's about it.
Yeah,
it
I like
had
it
an
so
interesting
far.
concept.
Yeah, I like it.
And Raised by Wolves.
Oh yeah, I'm watching
supposed
that
to be
too.
good,
Actually.
too.
Yeah,
Weird.
it's great.
Have y'all watched Raised by Wolves?
No, I haven't started yet.
I watched till like maybe. I think I have 2 episodes left or something.
Wow. See, I've only watched the first episode. It's probably the weirdest show I've ever seen in my life. It was a very, very weird show. And like, I don't know, like it's. Maybe I've just been into weird shows lately, but like I watched Devs and that one was really weird too,
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I move on to this one and it's like Devs had a good payoff at the end, and it's like, okay, that's good. And everyone's been saying Raised by Wolves is really good. And it's like, okay, am I willing to endure the weirdness in order to,
watch it.
finish it? All right.
Watch it. All
right.
It's
I'm
not
sold.
that long, so
Okay.
I like it so far. So we'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
on there.
Fried Pixel says that there's an article recently that he saw about Lost and how it turned out the way that it did.
Yes,
so
please
he's gonna
send me that
send the
link. I would like to read it.
We'll put it.
I
in
heard
show notes.
so one thing. I read an article one time about Lost, and they're like, so there was this person who did who had a website dedicated to it, to answering all the questions about Lost, right? And if you put in your mind that 90% of the answers are the island is magic, that answers almost all your questions,
Yeah.
But it's like
anytime that something like that happens,
right,
a wizard did
it. See, that's a Treehouse of Horrors episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Treehouse of
is
Horrors
it the
episode.
Lucy Lawless episode?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, almost all
I
of
didn't
our
know you could
quotes.
fly. I'm not Xena. I told you I'm not Zima. Xena. I'm Lucy Lawless. Oh.
Hmm.
It's like when you and I sit here on Skype during the
Right.
day and we're like, no.
See, that's a Treehouse of Horrors
See,
episode.
that's from yeah.
Anyway.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I used
First
to
of
listen to
all.
them when I went to gym, but
Mhm.
so now recently, but before, I like
Yeah.
Animalators was a really good podcast. I don't think they don't do it anymore for some
I
reason,
don't think
but
they
I
do
really
anymore.
like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was a really popular podcast when we first started too. And then it slowly just dwindled out, and I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, though, is that the pandemic and everything else, listenership is slightly down.
Yeah.
So just people aren't going anywhere where they want to listen to podcasts
Right.
anymore, And so the next one, though, favorite plugin.
Mhm.
Should
It's
be
a good one.
interesting.
Can you call Redshift a plugin?
Everyone says that, and yes, you can.
You can, but then I'll also ask what is your second favorite.
Bendy Limbs Rig was really great.
Cool.
From
Yeah.
iDesign. Like it, I was always so afraid of character rigging in 3D, and this is like kind of changed everything for me. So I finally got into it thanks to that.
Yeah.
So I guess you're excited about the R23 tools too. They got some
Oh yeah,
bendy stuff in there too.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
like-
beta tested Bendy Limbs, and I threw together. It's so easy. Like, I really like how easy you can do the animations and stuff. And I did a quick little. It's great being able to easily animate. And this was before he even had the automatic walk cycle going.
Yeah.
Which is great. You can pick that up on EJ's
Lucky.
website.
I think it's kind of like as easy as rubber hose for After Effects. So I think EJ even compares it to it. It's like,
yeah. Well, interesting enough, he actually called it rubber hose originally, and then the guy from Rubber Hose was like, "No, dude, that's my saying. You can't take it." And he ended up having to rebrand the entire thing to Bendy Limbs.
Yeah.
Like the day before.
Re-recording everything with Bendy Limbs in it. Yeah.
Lucky asked when your ska cast is starting.
I said that's a fantastic idea. I really should start that. I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about ska. I just enjoy listening to it. Throwing it on in the background and then skanking. Just skanking.
What would the name of your
I
podcast
don't
be?
know.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, we'll put it out there. What do y'all think it should be called?
Zoot Suit Milstead.
No, that's not ska. Just because it has horns doesn't mean it's ska.
Well, what is it then?
It's all about the beat. The 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 1. It's the.
What is Zoot Suit Riot?
Zoot Suit Riot's like big band.
I thought it was ska.
No, come on. Just because it has horns doesn't mean it's ska. Watch that documentary.
I need to get educated
Pick It Up.
on my ska. I guess.
I will watch that.
All right. The next one on the list is headphones.
Yeah, I usually, if I can, I don't use them. If I'm like working from home and I'm by myself, I'd just like rather not to. But because to me, all these headphones, they're usually like too massive and kind of heavy on my head for some reason. I don't know why. So I actually picked up this one's like my partner got it for me, and I kind of like it so far. It's B&O, I think, and they're smaller than their regular size headphones, and I think it works for me for now.
Cool.
Yeah. And when you pick up your phone and you have your favorite muscle memory app that you just instantly pick up your phone and you hit the button, what is that app?
Probably Instagram.
Yeah.
That seems to be the answer just about every week now, I think.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's just interesting because, especially with designers, I feel like that's where it's going because we're all kind of burnt out on Facebook and Twitter and politics and things. So it's just like, okay, let's go to the art.
Yeah, let's look at pictures.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you want to see political pictures, just go to Beeple's site.
Yeah.
Other than did you see his render that he just did? It was it was
pineapple.
It was the pineapple one. It was SpongeBob's pineapple, but you don't have like a weird creature SpongeBob in it. It's really interesting. It's a good one. Just do a quick
I like the
Beeple's
underwater
people.
look. It's kind of cool.
The what?
Underwater look.
Yeah.
So it's like underwater. So it's
Well, there's also the one he did for RBG as well.
That
Did
one
you
was
see that
so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was like I
Okay,
felt
I'm
like
gonna
the composition and color in that one was just excellent.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the pineapple here now so we can check it out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. I like that he puts different views. He like zooms in on things now, and then also he'll do, if you're on Instagram, he does stories as well, which are fun.
The pineapple was good.
And the skull one is pretty good. I guess we accidentally Beeple's people almost.
Oh,
here.
there's the classic boombox.
Or is that Halo?
Is that?
Hey, look, it's Halo.
Amy always calls
Doesn't
them
it look like
Transformers. Anytime we're at like
really?
like an anime festival or something to see someone in Halo. Oh, is that a Transformer? No, it's not a Transformer.
I forget what somebody sent me something or someone said something somewhere. They're like, it's so funny. You can just, where was that I saw that?
Know.
If you're at a festival or something like that, you're like, look, it's Halo. and you just instantly piss people off. Like even they just for some reason they don't. It was a meme or something. It's like they don't know you're joking. Every time that this person says it, he's like, "Halo people don't know I'm
That's
joking,"
funny.
and they get really angry. To be like, "Look, it's Halo." And
That's cool.
here's the one he did with the AI robot thing and like cat. That's pretty cool. But where is the?
Don't do it.
Oh man, some of these are
Don't
so
do it,
good.
no.
I'm just looking through like Konami code. I love the RTX baby
That's
thing.
so dumb.
It's the new Nvidia's baby with the. Oh gosh,
There, that
where's
one's
the?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
here it is. It's called Lady
That's
Justice.
beautiful.
This is an RBG.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
smoke in the background. You know, it's so good. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there's your accidental people's
Yep.
people right there. So, where were we at on the list? Oh, game. Now we're doing
Yeah.
game. Do you
Nice.
play video games?
So I actually almost never have time to play them, but conceptually I really like playing games.
Yeah.
But the last time I actually was able to sit down and play something from start to finish, it was maybe in college. So my favorite one is very old.
That's okay.
It's Alice American McGee. So it's like, I don't know if anybody
What is it called?
remembers it.
I don't know.
It's about like Alice, and it's kind of, I think it's the same engine as Quake.
Okay.
So you kind of like this horror wonderland.
What's it called again?
Yeah.
Alice American McGee.
Okay.
Huh. I've not heard of that. Do you play, if you play games, is it mainly like on console, PC, Xbox?
PC, because this is what I
Yeah.
had in Russia growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't have console when I was a kid.
Have you tried Fall Guys yet?
Is it what?
Fall Guys?
Oh, what is that?
Everybody's addicted. It's a game on Steam that's been really popular lately.
Oh, no.
And Ariev has been incredibly addicted to
dude,
it.
he's played
Like,
80 hours of that game. He has
Yeah.
sunk 80 hours of his life into that game, and I don't know how. Like
he said he's won first place 25
something
times.
like that.
Something like that.
And considering each game is like
Crazy.
what, 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's like he sunk 80 hours into it and only won 25 times. Dude,
It's hard to win. It's really hard to win though. I can barely play it. I can barely get to the second level. But yeah. So that's a fun
Yeah.
one. So you should check it out if you haven't if you really want to get addicted to something. That'll be
Okay.
I'm interested to see if you could parsec into like say you don't have a very powerful like gaming computer or something like that.
yeah.
If you could do like a AWS computer or something and then parsec into that, you know?
Build your own virtual
Right?
gaming machine.
You know?
That'd be awesome.
That would be interesting.
I don't know if that'd be possible. That'd be neat.
You're even that slight lag
Yeah.
is. I mean, what is it? 72 millisecond lag or
that
something
was-
like that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because on fiber, like I have or something, I've got a 2 millisecond ping,
Wow. That's great.
and so I'm sure yours is the same. if
Not
you have
really.
the same services I do.
It probably gets up to like 15 or something. I don't know, but I'm also using Wi-Fi. I'm just using Wi-Fi on mine. I don't have it plugged in.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. The last one is life hack. What is your favorite life hack? Mitch Myers likes to say you turn the toaster on its side for some bomb ass grilled cheese.
Maybe, I don't know if like people maybe do it already, but to me it was a revelation that you can freeze your bagels, and then if you toast them, they're as good as new. But this way you can kind of stash them, especially in the pandemic. It works great.
That's a good idea.
Just stash your freezer with bagels, and then you have
So
them.
you put them in the freezer,
Yeah.
and then do you pull them out as you need them and toast them, or do you have to let them?
Yeah,
thaw
you can
first?
just like we do broil. I have just oven. I don't have a toaster, so you just do broil like 2 minutes one side, 2 minutes another other side, and it's good as new.
Interesting. We just
Yeah, my parents used to do that growing up.
Oh,
That's
really?
interesting. We have a bagel
Yeah.
place that just opened, just down the street. And like the biggest problem I've had is that I'll buy a dozen bagels, but I'm the only one who eats the bagels. So they go bad real quick. But along the same lines of like keeping them fresh, if you take the bag of bagels, right, keep them in the bag and then put them in a Ziploc bag, they actually stay fresher longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they'll
Nice.
stay nice and like smushy or whatever, you know? Yeah.
This makes me
Okay,
want
I
a
want
bagel.
a bagel so bad.
I'm
now.
just gonna I'm gonna get a bagel on my
Right.
birthday when I can eat carbs. Yeah. Just wake up in the morning, get a
Right.
bagel just for putting on
just
a roof.
for putting on a No one else is
Will
going to get
anybody
that joke.
get that
No.
reference? If anybody gets that reference at all without us telling you
Yeah.
what it is, please
Yeah.
email me and let me
Yeah.
know that there's anybody else in the universe who knows what that reference is. Yeah. So I'm gonna get a bagel on
Bagel.
Wednesday, man.
Just for putting on a roof.
Man, turning 40 during a pandemic is not a very big deal. Yeah.
I'm sorry you're turning
Just
40.
get a bagel and a pumpkin spice latte.
Right.
That's what I get. Okay, well that is it then.
Yeah,
We got through the Mograph recommends list.
there we go.
That's it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We want to make sure that we point everybody in the right direction so that they can find all of your stuff online, your Instagram and everything else. Your site is tsmotion.design, right? And if people want to find you online, do you have a handle that you use for everything most of the time, or does it vary?
It's usually ts_motion, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So Instagram, are you on Twitter as well?
Yeah, but I'm not as much there as on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just once in a while.
Twitter sucks.
Yeah. It seems like that's the case with a lot of people now. And a lot of the times now, some of the newer artists that I have, talked to online, and I'm sitting there gathering their information to do promos and stuff like that. They won't even have a Twitter
Yeah.
at all. It's interesting. The trend keeps moving that direction. Like I can't even like at them on Twitter because they're just not
Right.
there. I guess that's.
I just never got to it for some reason. I was like, I just don't get it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I came to this realization the other day, or actually this morning. Twitter and Facebook suck. And now specifically, and I'll tell you the point in which they started sucking, the point in which they added in the algorithm that automatically chooses what you see and what you don't, instead of giving you a linear view of everyone's thoughts and
Right.
stuff,
Right.
Facebook was really fun. Like the other day I posted something about my love for ska and how ska is the best music ever made. And all the comments were just people making fun of me about liking ska. And it was fun. We were all just like joking with each other. And that's the way Facebook used to be,
Right.
But now it's all just like political and whatever. And I think the point in which it changed was when they just started figuring out what it thinks you should see, instead of
Have you watched The Social
no,
Dilemma yet?
I got the gist of it from the way you said it. But I mean, that's basically it.
It doesn't do it
I want to see.
justice, man.
I want to see a
watch it.
linear view. If someone just recreates Facebook in a completely linear view, I feel like that will make it so much better.
Until they realize they need to make money. But yeah.
You can still make tons of money on advertising. The amount of money that they make on advertising alone. If you don't think Facebook was addictive enough, back in the day, that they had to change it to some sort of algorithm that makes you interact with it more, I don't know.
About that money. Watch that
It's
doc. I
not
saw so many
literally
people. I saw
upbeat punk. It's a little bit. Yeah, maybe.
Raphael Rao, I think, said something this morning about Social Dilemma. Chris Pretty was talking about Social Dilemma. Everybody's been watching it and just...
And where did they post that?
Yeah.
On Facebook that they've been watching it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't seem to
okay. It doesn't
change
mean you have
anything.
to stop using it. It's more of just... something feels different. I don't
Yeah.
know. You got to watch
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being
Yeah,
on,
Tatiana,
Tatiana.
thanks.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
And, I am incredibly exhausted from this weekend doing the course stuff, and hopefully we don't have any bugs or technical issues because I'm ready for a nap. I'll tell you that.
Seriously, right?
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was super
Yeah.
We'll
fun.
have to meet up IRL, once this whole thing's over.
For sure.
We're going to have a big party, a big ass party. It's going to be
That would be great.
huge.
Big
I'm
Corona
telling
party.
you. We're going to put a gigantic Mograph event together. We'll partner with Beeple. We'll do there we go. Yeah, like the new Control Z, it'll be the pandemic is over. Let's get messed up and party. We'll find the cheapest place to fly to for everyone, like Vegas or something, and just hold a gigantic party.
So NAB.
No, NAB. NAB is going to be in October. It's stupid.
We have some ideas
Yeah.
planned we're working on. We can get sponsorship. We've got some cool ideas for being able to meet up again, at least in some kind of fashion during all of this. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. That would be great
Yeah.
to see people again
Yeah.
I know, right?
in person.
And maybe camp.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come to camp
yeah,
as
come to
well.
camp.
Yeah.
Be
That'll be
fun.
fun. Still working
Yeah,
out the
actually,
details on
yeah,
that.
I've heard a lot of good things
Thanks.
about Mograph Camp.
Yeah, we're still working on the dates,
Yeah.
right, Matt? We're
Yeah, I haven't heard.
waiting to secure-
In fact, that reminds me, I need to send him an email. So I'm going to send him an email
Yeah.
right after the show.
Yeah. Cool.
So-
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes. You can leave a review. That helps us with our ratings and things like that. I haven't really looked to see if you had any reviews lately,
might
but
have.
we should come out with some new merch and
Yeah.
we can give out shirts for reviews like we
Yeah.
used to do back in the day. You can also subscribe on your podcatcher of choice to the audio feed of this program, that's where most of the people listen, actually. The newsletter will be going out this week now that the course is done.
Mhm.
That's on my to-do list. I was waiting for that. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the Mograph logo tee, the Paul Babb, Feel the Bab 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. The Render Things t-shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee that you can wear with your yoga pants as you're getting your pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks.
Juicy.
And juicy it says juicy on the back. And not the Render Things
Right.
shirt, though. It doesn't say juicy on the back. Be funny if it did, though. That's what we need. Mograph
yoga pants that say that render is fire on the butt, right?
Yeah, that render is fire. The thing that I think they were talking about that in the Monday meeting. I think they're going to have their own merch coming
Yeah.
out soon. That was my suggestion: is they do yoga pants. I told them I'd model it for them. So,
Oh, that's
Make
all I
sure
want to
you-
see now is you in a pair of Mograph the Monday meeting
yeah,
yoga
you'd have to
pants.
raise a lot of money to see
Yeah.
that on
How
the
much,
internet.
Dave?
Yeah, a lot
Give us a number.
more than we could raise.
Give us a number.
$1 million.
Oh, whatever.
No,
$1 million.
$1 million with an M.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's not worth it. What about $10,000?
Oh, okay.
$10,000 to
No.
the charity of your choice. You wearing a pair of juicy yoga pants.
No, I would need to be receiving the $10,000.
Oh,
for this
come
to happen.
on. All right, fine. I'll do it.
No.
I'll do it. $10,000.
Will you?
Yeah. To Doctors Without Borders, and I will do a juicy.
But one donation of $10,000, not a
No,
collective.
it could be collective. You just send us a receipt.
You're gonna end up in an Andy situation from The
What did he
Office,
do?
like the tattoo on his butt.
That's all right.
You know, when Andy went
get him.
and he promised them
Right.
the
And he got the
tattoo
Nard dog,
was-
right?
And the Nard
Right.
dog. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna want to pay $10,000 to see that, but also the last one is the render. That render is fire shirt, which you are only allowed to wear, ironically,
Unless you're shams.
unless you're shams.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Mograph.com. Check us out on the things. Go check out a little free preview of one of the chapters of the Creating the Unreal class course. Check it out and see if you like it. And you can join in the fun. Get yourself a little purchase
Yeah.
there.
Make sure to give
Only $249.
Winbush a shout out.
247, I mean.
On the Twitters and the Instagrams and stuff for putting it all together. We're
Yeah.
really happy to have launched it.
Yes, yes. And thank you,
Jury's juicy.
Jonathan,
Oh,
for
that's
all
so
the
good.
hard work That render is juicy. Yeah. It should just say render on
Sure. Okay.
on the yoga pants. Render. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Tatiana.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
Bye, everyone.
It's pretty good, I guess. Mograph.com, an online resource for motion graphic artists. Start your week with the Mograph podcast. Industry news, interviews with your favorite artists, and terrible humor. Watch live shows and interviews from Mograph events like NAB, SIGGRAPH, Half-Res, and local meetups. Our Mograph Talks feature live demos and motivation from artists all around the world.
Sometimes you gotta make stuff that you're not gonna put on your reel, and I'm not here to judge.
What if Rick and Morty show up for the countdown at midnight? That's where I peaked in life, in my career.
We gotta stop this thing, Rick! It's gonna kill us all!
Hear from the people that create your software, design your render engines, and artists that are changing the face of modern motion graphics.
You get that render done. Yeah, you better frame what?
Mograph tutorials and online classes will teach you about Cinema 4D, After Effects, as well as other popular software and render engines.
Throw in the HDR Studio, take the render settings, pick the HDR, put in a reflection, and gorgeous.
Branch into new software. Learn time-saving tips, techniques, workflows, and lessons that'll keep you up to date in the world of motion design.
Oh, brother, those are some of my favorite elves.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join the conversation in our live sessions. Check out our plugins, or join the hundreds of daily active users in our Slack channel for technical help, advice, contests, or just to joke around.
Real nice banana.
Ah, that's so funny. All right. I'm gonna live forever.
Subscribe today and get the latest updates on our YouTube and other social media channels.
Take all your dreams and just do it!
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here.
Subscribe to Mograph.com.